Created by ContentBinger.com. TORTS Law Glossary. Letter C.
Causation is the relationship of cause and effect of an act or omission and damages alleged in a tort or personal injury action. The act or omission must be proved to be a substantial factor in causing the harm or injury claimed by the plaintiff. Cause of action is a specific legal claim, such as for negligence, breach of contract, or personal injury, alleging that the defendant harmed the plaintiff. Each cause of action is divided into parts, all of which must be proved to win a case. Case management conference is a court hearing in which the judge sets deadlines and makes sure that a case is moving along. It is not the trial, and the two sides usually do not discuss claims or defenses at the conference. Both parties are required to attend. Charitable immunity is an immunity from civil liability, and particularly as regards negligent torts, that is granted to a charitable or non-profit organization. The legal doctrine of charitable immunity holds that a charitable organization is not liable under tort law. Civil case is a non-criminal lawsuit in which an individual, business, or government entity sues another to protect, enforce, or to be compensated for a violation of private rights. There are hundreds of varieties of civil cases, including lawsuits for breach of contract, probate, divorce, negligence, etc. Common count, a claim for money owed. Claim is a legal payment or compensation for a loss that is under a contract, or because of injury as a result of someone's negligence. Class action is a lawsuit filed by one or more people on behalf of themselves and a larger group of people who are similarly situated. Class certification is a bit complicated, and most people won't need to know more than this. The first requirement to reach certification is to prove that the proposed class is ascertainable, meaning an examination of class definition, estimated class size, and methods of identifying class members, i.e. women who used a certain kind of birth control throughout 2011 to 2013 that will be reached via television advertisements. Second, there must be a well-defined community of interest in the questions of law and fact involved. This requirement ensures that the claims set forth by the plaintiff are representative and typical of the class, and whether that plaintiff can sufficiently represent the class. Furthermore, the plaintiff and counsel must prove that a class action lawsuit is the best method of handling the case, an alternative to individual litigation. Collateral source rule is a law in state jurisdictions that prevents the reduction of damages awarded to a plaintiff for injury, illness, or disability by the amount already recovered from a third party, such as an insurer. The rule varies by state, but generally mandates that damages awarded to a plaintiff in court cannot be reduced by any amount that is paid from other sources, including health insurance and workers' compensation, that cover the damages. Comparative negligence is a principle of tort law that applies to casualty insurance in certain states. Comparative negligence states that when an accident occurs, the fault and/or negligence of each party involved is based upon their respective contributions to the accident. This allows insurers to assign blame and pay insurance claims accordingly. Compensatory damages are awarded to a plaintiff in a lawsuit as a way to repay them for the loss or harm they encountered as a result of the defendant's actions. They are intended to place the plaintiff in the position they would have occupied if not for the defendant's harmful acts. Types include general damages and specific damages. Complaints are documents filed with the court by a plaintiff to start a lawsuit. A complaint sets out facts and legal claims, called causes of action. In some types of cases, it is called a petition. Contract means a legally binding agreement involving two or more people or businesses that sets forth what each will or will not do. It is made up of a mutual assent, expressed by a valid offer and acceptance, adequate consideration, capacity, and legality. Generally, Contracts can be oral or written. Concussion is a traumatic brain injury that affects your brain function. Effects are usually temporary but can include headaches and problems with concentration, memory, balance and coordination. Consent is a defense that can be statutory or common law, perfect or imperfect, depending on the jurisdiction. Consent can be a valid defense to a crime only if the victim chooses to render it. Thus it must be proffered knowingly and voluntarily, or it is ineffective. Consequential damages, otherwise known as special damages, are damages that can be proven to have occurred because of the failure of one party to meet an obligation imposed by duty or law. Conspiracy is an agreement between two or more persons to commit a wrongful act. Such an agreement may be made orally or in writing or implied by the conduct of the parties. A tort claim may be made in the event that one has been harmed or sustained damages as a result of a conspiracy. Contributory negligence is a common law tort rule which bars plaintiffs from recovering for the negligence of others if they too were negligent in causing the harm. Contributory negligence has been replaced in many jurisdictions with the doctrine of comparative negligence. In the field of tort law, a plaintiff can recover against a negligent defendant by proving duty, breach, causation, and injury. Conversion is when someone wrongfully uses property of another for their own purposes or alters or destroys it. In an action for conversion, the taking of the property may be lawful, but the retaining of the property is unlawful. To succeed in the action, the plaintiff must prove that he or she demanded the property returned and the defendant refused to do so. Copyright infringement is the use or production of copyright-protected material without the permission of the copyright holder. Copyright infringement means that the rights afforded to the copyright holder, such as the exclusive use of a work for a set period of time, are being breached by a third party. Cross-complaint, legal paperwork by a defendant starting their own lawsuit against the original plaintiff, a co-defendant, or someone yet not a party to the lawsuit. A cross-complaint against someone not yet a party must be related to the events that led to the original lawsuit.
Content Binger thanks you for watching. For more content, check out contentbinger.com.